Turning now to campaign 2019, we are just hours away from Election Day.
Voters will choose city and town leaders, plus decide dozens of ballot questions, and we'll have team coverage with crews all over the state following the key races. Right now, some breaking news, though, to report on the election front. Within
the last hour, big news from the state Supreme Court determined the election in Bridgeport will go on as planned, despite a battle over ballots there. Channel 3's Mike Savino is on the case. He's following those developments. And Mike, you're in our newsroom right now. Walk us through exactly what happened today in the High Court.
So Denise and Dennis, the Supreme Court was actually having an emergency hearing on a legal challenge over Mayor Joe Ganem's win in the Democratic primary back in September. But the justices couldn't come up with a decision today, and that means tomorrow's election will go on as planned.
No action of this court today should be construed to prevent the general election in Bridgeport from taking place tomorrow as scheduled.
A legal challenge won't stop the mayoral election tomorrow in Bridgeport. A group of voters is looking to throw out the results of September's Democratic primary, won by Mayor Joe Ganem. The state Supreme Court agreed to take up a last-minute hearing today, but decided not to take action just hours before polls open, sometime in the near future. The group of voters is contesting Ganem's 270-vote victory over State Senator Marilyn Moore. Moore actually beat Ganem at the polling places in September, but Ganem won the absentee ballots by a wider margin, securing the Democratic nomination. The group of voters are raising concerns about irregularities with some of the absentee ballots, including some voters who say they gave their ballots to campaign canvassers and not Bridgeport's Registrar of Voters. A lower court judge agreed with the plaintiffs that several irregularities occurred.
Illegal and disturbing were the words that were used by the trial court to describe the actions taken by people hired by the defendants.
But the case comes down to two questions. Were the irregularities widespread enough to affect the results, and do the voters have the right to bring the lawsuit? A lawyer for the city of Bridgeport says the answer to both is no.
The plaintiff is required to prove both that there's an actual injury, there's aggrievement, and that it's by a ruling of an election official. And the plaintiffs don't have either element of that here. They're voters, they're not candidates.
So again, with this lack of a decision, that means tomorrow's election will continue as planned. Polls will open beginning at 6 a.m. and be sure to stay with us on Eyewitness News tomorrow for all the results and all the elections. From the newsroom, Mike Savino, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.